Hello the booktube, my name is Daniel, welcome back to my channel, Guilty Feet. I've got no rhythm. Going to do something flying around here and it's going to drive me nuts. I'm on the couch, as opposed to on that chair that I'm usually at, I don't know why. Going to do a quick Friday read. It's Thursday night tonight, so I'll record now, upload it through the night, hopefully go live tomorrow, Friday, and I will tell you what I've read since we last spoke, which was Sunday, posted Monday, and then also tell you about my plans for the week ahead, which involve a holiday. And so while I don't normally curate my TBR because we're going abroad, I've had to choose some books that I think I will take with me, so we'll talk about those as well. But first of all, what have I read since the last things that I told you I read? Okay, so the 8th in the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Ivanovich, I don't know which is which is which, Hard 8, and I've enjoyed all of these to date. They're just silly, funny, but sort of enough actual noirish action and murder to be entertaining. This one is probably the start of the truly diminishing returns. A lot of ground that we've covered before. It still has some funny moments and still entertaining, and the fact that I can consume these in a single gulp makes them worth reading, and I've got the next couple lined up already. I doubt that I'm going to get to number 24 in the series, and I'm okay with dropping it once they cease to entertain, but this was, I would say, the least satisfying of the 8 that I've read so far. It's still fun. After that, I picked up something which I read many years ago. I think I don't know. I think I read the floppies. I might have read this online, and this is Fables. This is volume 1 of Fables, which is a long-running series. I think it's ended now, but there's I think maybe even 20 volumes like this. So this has 5 issues in it. So 20 times that would be 100 issues. That would make me think it ran even more than 100 issues. And there's a spin-off as well called Jack of Fables, which I somehow managed to purchase the first 5 volumes of that spin-off series, which I have no idea when I'll read. But I went back and read this one because I picked this up cheap on eBay, and I fancied a revisit. I never made it past the first big story arc. So this is 5 issues, the first 5 issues 1 through 5 of Fables. It's set in a world where characters from Fables are living in what they call the mundane world, which is our world, and we're talking people like Snow White, and we're talking about Prince Charming and Bluebeard, and Old King Cole is the leader of Fabletown, which is the government in exile, and they are exiled from their fantasy lands because they have all been captured by someone who we only know as the adversary. And at the beginning we see the lands that the adversary, there's lots of choices of the words I'm using today, we see the lands he's conquered, and we see him conquering Oz, and we see him conquering what must be Narnia, and all the fabulous characters that live in these places have all been forced into exile into the mundane world. All the ones that pass as humans live in the city, and the ones that look like trolls or talking animals live somewhere else on the farm. And we start this story with a mystery. This is 5 issues where Rose Red, Snow White's sister, has gone missing, and there's a lot of blood left in her apartment, and we try to solve what has happened to Rose Red. And the lead detective in Fabletown is a character called Bigby Wolf, who formerly known as the Big Bad Wolf, and he has human form for the most part, although he does transform into it's all very the kind of thing you might have seen before if you ever saw the TV show Once Upon a Time, or any show where characters from fables and story tales have moved into the real world. There's a lot, it's stuff you've seen before, but the world building here is really terrific. And these first 5 issues, I say, function as a kind of standalone because it's a murder mystery and there's a detective trying to find out what's going on, and then there's a big sort of parlour room reveal in the last of these 5 issues. I quite enjoyed this. Again, I'm not sure I will pursue more of these. There's that flipping bloody. I swear, I'm not making this up. This thing flies in front of the screen. I'm going to start hitting things. Bugger. I'm really sorry. And anyway, it was okay, and I enjoyed that, but I don't know if I'll read more. So after Fables Volume 1, I then read something a little more sophisticated, and it's the first volume of Deborah Levy's memoir, not autofiction. This is actual memoir. This is called Things I Don't Want to Know, and there was I came to this because a lot of people on where are we? On BookTube had been talking about it. Rebecca Reed's books was raving about this. I think she's about to read the third one, and she liked this one. She liked the second one even more. So I gave it a try because I'd read a novel of Deborah Levy's. I read Swimming Home, and when it was shortlisted a few years ago for the Booker Prize, and I didn't love it. It was a sort of convoluted story that was a bit sort of wordy and dense, and in the end it was about PTSD and grief following the Holocaust specifically, and there were all the pieces were there. I just, for a slim novel, it just felt like a lot of hard work for me. So I sort of pushed Deborah Levy out of my reading plans, and then I saw this was getting a lot of buzz, and there's a second volume's already in paperback, and I think that's got a red, so I like the design of these monochrome colours of red, and then the third one I think has just been published in hardback, and I think it's going to be yellow, but the same kind of design with the name and then a picture and then the title. So this is very, very short. This is like 160 pages and really big print, and that's really, I think, in the end what turned me onto this, seeing that this was going to be edible. And actually the reading was so much more enjoyable than the novel. She has an odd sort of distant style about her, Deborah Levy, but this is, as I say, a memoir, and it's framed by Levy in her 50s, running away and going back to a village that she's stayed at in Europe many years before, and while she's there she starts recounting stories from her earlier years, and there's two particular time periods here that we talk about in her very early years. So one of them is as a 7, 8, 9-year-old in South Africa, starting with the night that her father is arrested for being a member of the ANC, and the things that happen after that, and the way her life changes in the couple of years that follow, and then we jump forward in time. Her father's held in prison for many years. After he's gets out of prison, the family moves from South Africa to London, and so the second time period that this book covers is Levy as a teenage child in Finchley in London in the 70s, and trying to make sense of the world, and the end of her parents' marriage, and her place in whether she's going to become a writer. It's just terrific. Every bit of this was terrific and accessible, and just beautifully written, and made me want to read the next two volumes immediately. I'm going to have to order the second one. I'll probably wait for the third one to come out in paperback, because I think this will make a nice neat set of the three in colour. Oh, that's the second one. I think that's the second one. The second one's in yellow. I think the third one must be in red. If I've got those the wrong way. The second one's called The Cost of Living or Loving? Living. Really good, really accessible, terrific bit of memoir, and very easy at 160 pages of big print to get through, so consumable and worthwhile. And then straight after I read that, I took on this thing that I wanted to read for a while, and it's Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. I read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and I realise it's like more than 15 years ago since that book came out, and I have it in hardback, and I have the white. There it is up there. 1 second. No. That's it right there. You see the white cover with the raven on the side of crow. I don't know what it is, but they did some with a black cover and white writing on it, and I've got the white cover with black writing, which is it's just got a bit dirty actually. So I don't know if the black cover might be better. Anyway, Piranesi is there is like a follow-up novel to that which I didn't read, and then this is the first standalone since then. It's just an outstanding piece of work. Everything that I'd read about it suggested that it was going to be outstanding, and it absolutely is. Almost impossible to describe. Piranesi, which we know is not his name, is a character living in a sort of endless Gothic collection of halls and doors, or passing from one hall to another, and waters flow through these halls, so that with high and low tides, and Piranesi has mapped a huge number of these connected rooms and halls, and noted the tides, and we start with this sort of arcane description of the various rooms that Piranesi has visited, and how he sustains himself, and how he learns to survive in this sort of place which he is, for the most part, the only inhabitor. But we know there is another there, and we know this Piranesi calls him the other, and occasionally meets with him once or twice a week to discuss the great plan that they are in cahoots to try and execute. I think I've done a terrible job in describing it, because it's almost impossible to describe. I think what we're dealing with here, first of all, just the writing is beautiful, and the mystery of what this place is revealed and pieced out in a way that is thoroughly satisfying, and the pacing is just absolutely right, so that just when you're wondering, well, how many more of these incoming and outgoing tides and are we going to live through before we find out what actually is happening, and who Piranesi is, and as the information is revealed just when I think the reader needs it. So it's a beautifully paced, compared to Jonathan Strange's novel, which was a massive 700-800 page book. This is a relatively rapid moving 250 pages, and a good time before the end of the book we have a clear idea of what's happened and who everyone is, and how they got where they got. I think this can be read as exactly as it is, as a sort of a fantastical fable and a story of the occult and academia. I think, and I haven't done a lot of research into what people are saying about this, but to me I think it is also a parable about mental illness and loneliness and self-reliance, and the importance of friends and understanding, and treating people who are neurodivergent perhaps on their own, meeting them on their own terms, rather than forcing your own view of the world onto them. I'm really doing a terrible job of this. The only thing I think I want to say about Piranesi is that it is absolutely outstanding. It is 150% worth your time, and I think will stay with me in a haunting and way for quite some time. One of the absolute best things that I've read in a long time. Really tremendous. I love that. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. So the next book that I'm reading, and the book that I'm going to read over the weekend, is another one of the hardbacks left over from last year, Leave the World Behind by Women Alarm, which I think I read one page, and I'm going to do that over the weekend. So let me explain to what's going on. It's now Thursday night, so tomorrow's Friday, and then I have Shabbat, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday my wife and I are flying to Greece for a week's holiday. We think it's definitely going to happen. So it's now going into the weekend. Bloody buggering buzzy thing. I'm going to the weekend, so I will read this over the weekend, and probably two more books over the weekend, because I do a lot of reading on Shabbat. So I don't know what those are going to be. I'll pick something up, probably a graphic novel, and maybe something else light and readable. And then we're flying on Tuesday for a week, so 7 days on a Greek island, and we're staying in a quiet sort of hotel with a pool, and the plan is to do very little, to hike around the volcano and do very little else. So I'm choosing a bunch of books. I've chosen a bunch of books. This may not be, I've just brought out some books that I think I may bring with me, and I may change my mind before I pack. But these are the kind of books that I'm going to take with me on holiday, and these are the concerns when I go on holiday. So I bring a bunch of paperback books, just in terms of space, so no hardbacks. And I want the books to be readable, so I don't mind something a little bit meaty, but I want it to flow. I don't want to be struggling or to be stuck in a book while I'm away. So that's another criterion. And a third criterion is that my wife will probably do some reading while we're away. Now, she doesn't choose her own book. She's not going to go through the library, and she hasn't read a lot of the books here. But when this flying mosquito is going to drive me nuts. It landed right on the computer. So I have to choose books also, among them some that I think she might read and not be mad at me for having chosen. So I've got a bunch of books here, some for me. I mean, they're all for me, but some of them I can hand to my wife and she'll rip through them. When she reads much faster than I do. She just has, she needs to relax and get into the spirit of the holiday. So these are the things that I think I'm going to be taking with me. So it's not a TBR, it's not guaranteed. I may not get to all of these books, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. So first off is the third Gabriel Allon, Daniel Silva. This is a perfect sort of plain/beach read. The first two I've been underwhelmed by, but here's another one, because I bought the next four in the series because James Elroy keeps raving about them. And this is another one. So Gabriel Allon is an Israeli spy, and they've been knockabout kind of rubbish. I guess it's sort of half a step up from what's his face, Jack Reacher thing. I read one of those, and that was too rubbish for me to continue. So I've got that. I'm also taking with me the first Poirot. So I've got Agatha Christie's The Mysterious Affair of Styles, and this is something maybe my wife, if she'll whiz through that in an afternoon if I give that to her. I've got, and you're getting a sense of the kind of books, detective stuff and lightweight holiday reading. I've got this is the fourth Longmire, Craig Johnson, so I read them in order, but this is also the kind of thing I could give to my wife, and she could read that and then tell me how much she did enjoy it. So this, I bring one bit of non-fiction. I've got Dan Ariely's Particularly Irrational, and this I brought this bringing this with one eye on, and giving this to my wife, because this is the kind of thing I think she probably wouldn't pick up at another time, and actually sitting by the pool she might whiz through that and enjoy that. I'm taking with me Hamnet, so a serious book. If I feel good about the amount of reading I do, then it's actually got nice big print, and it's like 350 pages, and I really want to read this, and I waited till it came out in paperback to pick it up, and I think this could be the week that I get to it sitting by the pool. I think this is something I could do in a day and a half. I've also got the first Matt Helm. This was a Duncan recommendation, and this is Death of a Citizen, and it should be sort of, again, this is 130 pages, and should be sort of violent and satisfyingly retro, misogynist and daft 60s spy stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. A light one, I've got The Diary of a Bookseller by Sean Beiful. Beiful, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but this I think is an absolute beach romp. This is his diary of when he actually was a bookseller. It's the kind of thing I bought because I know I'll enjoy it, and if I'm going to enjoy something, why not enjoy it on holiday? I've got another novel here because I think it's a bit kooky, and I could give this to my wife as well. This is Barn 8. It's about the egg industry and it's a sort of kooky. It's got George Saunders' review on the back here. So I don't know much about it, but I've heard good things. Again, sort of nice big print, around 300 pages. This could be the kind of thing that combination of beach and plain may get us there. And then I've also got here Hopscotch by Brian Garfield, which is this is a Otto Penzler presents. So this is a sort of 70s spy thriller that was updated and re-released. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 9 books here. And on the one hand, it's ridiculous. Who's going to read 9 books in a week? On the other hand, I don't know whether I should bring 1 or 2 more. Like, I'm not going to bring graphic novels with me because they take up too much space and they really take me less than an hour to read. So that's not. So you understand the investment here. It has to be something which would be meaty enough, take up time, but also sort of light and frothy enough for me to enjoy on holiday. I may take these 9. I may take something else. Depends on what I get through this weekend before I fly. And I may just have another couple of backup books that my wife might enjoy and give me some more choices while I'm there. And then I may come back having spent an entire week not doing any reading at all. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Hopefully I'll capture some video when I'm there, and we'll see what the sunlight looks like and what the view is by the pool. And I don't know whether I'll have enough bandwidth to upload from there, but failing that, I will speak to you when I get back. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the next week. Hopefully I'll be in touch. And take care. God bless. Bye.